Hello everybody, I am Shonen Saint and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a video that I've actually been wanting to do for quite a while now, and that is how Disney Town can return in the future Kingdom Hearts game. Now I think Disney Town is a really cool world. I like Disney Castle, I like Disney Town. I just think it's a really cool world because I am a huge fan of older Mickey Mouse materials, such as his older cartoons, some of his newer cartoons, older movies, and things like that. And I always found that Disney Town could have been a great world if it continued to be expanded like it was from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Birth by Sleep. Continue to expand and add more of that Disney property and more of that Disney feel to it. Because I really like how Disney Town is incorporated in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I think it's a fantastic world. It's one of my favorite worlds in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Now, the goal of today's video is really me kind of, I guess, fan fictioning a potential return to Disney Town in the future and how I can see it working. And it would really just be going over some new areas, characters we could see, boss fights, and side quests. Because I think side quests would be a really cool gimmick for Disney Town in the future, kind of like how in Birth by Sleep its gimmick was the mini game world. Well, maybe in a future Kingdom Hearts game, it is a side quest world. But we're going to get all of that today in this video. So let's sit back, enjoy the time, and let's get started. Now, the first thing I really want to kind of go over before I get into the meat of the video is I just kind of want to talk about areas that we could potentially go to in this updated version of Disney Town. Now, I think it should stay as Disney Town, maybe even update it to maybe Disney City or Disney Metropolis, maybe update it in that form, but I think Disney Town should really just stay as it was, kind of like how we saw it in Birth by Sleep, but in a bigger fashion. Um, I think we should be able to go into both the Disney Town areas and inside Disney Castle in a more expanded form than we saw in Kingdom Hearts 2 and in Birth by Sleep. And some areas I kind of wanted to just see again is, of course, the throne room, the library, the gardens, maybe an updated area to the gummy ship launch pad area. And of course, I would love to see other areas of Disney Town, maybe not the exact same areas that we saw in Birth by Sleep, but more areas for that world. One thing I think Disney Town should lean into more is maybe replicating some of what the Disney parks look like. Now, it kind of does that a little bit, but kind of giving us, classic areas like Main Street from like Disneyland, I think would be a cool addition to it. Really just lean into that Disney park aspect of it, because I think Disney Town should be a representation of what Disney World kind of is in some way, without of course, the fancy attractions and each of its own areas. But maybe we can even get things maybe we could get areas that are different sections to what Disney World or Disney Land has. Stuff like, Tomorrowland, the Epcot Ball, and just areas like that. Can't remember them all right now, but just areas like that. Now, the next thing I want to kind of go over is how I think the world can potentially work story-wise. And I think the world in Kingdom Hearts 2, it was just a small world we went to once. We did our thing there, and that was really it. In Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, it was expanded a little bit more, where we went there and it was a mini-game world, and each of the main characters, Aqua and Terra, each had their own set of mini-games that they did. In the future Kingdom Hearts games, not particularly 4, but future Kingdom Hearts games, I think Disney Town should be a side quest world. Now, I think side quests aren't something that happens in Kingdom Hearts too often. We really don't get a lot of side quests. We do every now and then, but not to the extent of some other Japanese RPGs. And some people say, oh, that's fine, because a lot of side quests in those games are just filler fetch quests. They don't really mean nothing to the story. And I think, with what Kingdom Hearts is being that Disney crossover, I think we can make some really fun side quests out of it and use Disney Town as that launching point. Now, each side quest would start in Disney Town, and you would go to other worlds to continue the quest, update it. Each world would have its own section of the quest that you would have to do, but then the quest would eventually come to an end in Disney Town itself. So let's talk about the first side quest I kind of have in mind, and it's going to feature a character that a lot of people have been wanting to see in the Kingdom Hearts games for a long time. Now, the first side quest I have in mind is a Max Goof side quest. Now, Max Goof, again, like I said, is a character people have been wanting to see in Kingdom Hearts for a long time. We want to know if he even exists in Kingdom Hearts, and it really just kind of puts together if Goofy's a bad dad, which could work for the side quest's story. Max can be a character that is a knight in training and has a lot on his plate because his dad is the captain of the Royal Guard, but his dad's also kind of a fool sometimes, and he isn't always home. And Max could kind of resent his dad in a way like that, but also see himself as he is the future of the Royal Guards. And in return, he can start his own side quest where he ventures out to different worlds using gummy ships from Chip and Dale and try to prove himself as a royal knight. And in these small sections of side quests, he would become a new party member. Now, this only would really work in these particular side quests. He wouldn't become a mainstay party member, but each of these side quests you would fight along with him to defeat, a certain amount of Heartless or whatever, as he tries to prove himself in these other worlds and try to prove to his dad that he's a better knight than his dad. Now, Max has always kind of been a little asshole in the Goofy movies, so I think this would definitely work in his favor, as he's kind of being a prick to his dad, and Sora and Donald are just kind of there, like, this is awkward. But I think this definitely could work, and the side quest itself can come together in Disney Town, where once again you fight a set of Heartless, or maybe a boss fight Heartless itself, and Max will eventually see the error of his ways, and him and his dad will come together, and his dad will talk about blah, 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 all that. But I think that's a first side quest and a new character we can introduce with this idea of Disney Town being a side quest world. Now, the next side quest I want to talk about is kind of a more traditional Japanese RPG side quest, and that is a fetch quest. Now, this would be the only fetch quest that we would have in the game, and again, it would start at Disney Town and take us to multiple different worlds in order to find each piece to this fetch quest. And that is a Ludwig von Drake fetch quest. Now, if you don't know who Ludwig von Drake is, he's one of the Disney Ducks. He is a very smart character. He's appeared in Disney media throughout the years. He kind of has a sort of resemblance to Scrooge McDuck, not a big one, but just you would probably confuse them sometimes. But Ludwig von Drake is a mainstay to Disney, in my opinion, and I think having him be a scientist of sort in Disney Town works for Mickey in the science division. Maybe he was somebody who came up with the gummy ships themselves. I think that would actually be a really interesting lore detail. And having him trying to create this new machine, and when you meet him, it's failing, and he just needs certain parts that come from different worlds, and he tasks Sora, Donald, and Goofy from fetching these different things in these different worlds. Now, of course, these things would be in probably treasure chests that are hidden throughout the world. It'd probably be the big treasure chest. Again, this isn't a huge side quest type thing, but it would be a fetch quest that I think, it could be a fun little fetch quest, and at the end, he might create you a really good gummy ship to go through the different worlds, or maybe he creates you a new Keyblade or something like that. I think would be really cool. This next side quest is probably one of the biggest ones, and one that I think is probably the least likely to happen. And I kind of want to talk about this one real quick, because I think a lot of people would say this character himself deserves his own world, but I think no. If you are a part of the Mickey Mouse cast, I definitely think that you should pretty much all be involved in Disney Town. I think each character from the Mickey Mouse, lore, history, characters like the Disney Ducks from DuckTale, and of course, like we just talked about, Max Goof, a Goofy movie, those characters, Roxanne, Pete, all of them. I mean, we know they should all come from Disney Town. They should all be involved in Disney Town in some shape or form. Also, I didn't mention Roxanne during the Goofy part. Let's have Roxanne show up. I do like me some Roxanne. But so this character, I think a lot of people definitely want to have their own world. I'm talking about Darkwing Duck. Let's just get that out of the way. I am talking about Darkwing Duck. I know a lot of people would want a Darkwing Duck world, but I think he works more as a character that resides in Disney Town as a superhero archetype who goes around and kind of protects the city in his own way, while people like Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and also like Max, as we kind of talked about, isn't there to do the job themselves. And I think Darkwing Duck would be a very cool character to have in this form. And how would he work? He would kind of work like, if you ever played the Batman Arkham games, you have the side quests, which are called the Most Wanted quests. I think that's how Darkwing Duck should work. You should be kind of going with them in these different worlds, or maybe we can keep this one just at Disney Town, and you are tasked to defeating a certain boss fight Heartless, a certain Heartless itself, kind of protecting the worlds. And this can even involve the Weasels. Now, if you don't know the Weasels again are kind of these big like Disney villains. They're also up there. We could also maybe involve the Beagle Boys and some other Disney like Mythos villains that don't really show up too much in the Kingdom Hearts games. I mean, we do have Darkwing Duck, of course. And I just think it would be really cool to have Darkwing Duck work in that shape. And with all that said, I think this side quest should culminate to a boss fight, and have Darkwing Duck, of course, be a party member during this time, kind of like how Max Goof. And when I say that, I kind of mean like how they kind of did it in Birth by Sleep, as you had those party members for a limited amount of time. You could make Darkwing Duck and Max Goof, like after you complete all their side quests, become like mainstay party members inside Disney Town itself. I think that could work, but and how do I see this side quest coming together? And I think this would work in not only just the story of Kingdom Hearts, but kind of just fit its own little lore details. And the final boss for the Darkwing Duck side quest should be, now, I want you to listen to me, Nega Duck. Now, if you don't know who the Nega Duck is, he is basically the opposite of Darkwing Duck. He is a villain that appears in Darkwing Duck. He is basically the evil version of Darkwing Duck, and I think this could kind of work. And if they kind of give it a Kingdom Hearts twist, and it could really mirror like Sora and Yozora in some ways, of being the other half of this person, and I think that could work a lot. And it would just be kind of like cool lore callbacks to each other, and yeah, you get what I'm saying. And I think that would just work really well for the Darkwing Duck side quests. Now, a couple other things I kind of want to throw out there, as I don't really have any planned side quests that I could really see these characters working, but characters I think should show up within this world, either as like, say, as NPCs or stuff like that. Throughout the various Mickey Mouse cartoons, we see all kinds of city folks. As we see, NPCs are a much more popular thing nowadays in the Kingdom Hearts game, so I think Disney Town needs to be filled with these like background Disney characters, the dogs, the cats, the duck characters. I also think we should have an item shop, which is ran by Huey, Dewey, and Louie in this game. And obviously, I mean, they should be in there, but I think this time we should have a new character involved in it, and that should be Webby, which is a member of the main duck family. And I just think she's just a major character enough nowadays where I think she should be involved in the Huey, Dewey, and Louie like item shop stuff. Maybe she can be their manager, kind of like, put them in place. I think that'd actually be really fun. Other characters, like I mentioned before, I think maybe the Beagle Boys can be involved in some way, or have mob enemies that are with the Heartless, the Weasels. I think the Weasels kind of deserve to be mob enemies and just kind of be like little criminals that run around. Of course, they'd be involved in a lot of the side quests, but I think just having them as mob enemies that you just kind of fight in the like areas of the game where you do fight enemies would be really cool. Two other characters I think should definitely be involved in some shape or form is Pacinto and Jose. Now, if you don't know who these two are, they are basically Donald's like blood brothers. They are part of the Three Caballeros. And if you haven't seen the Three Caballeros, I actually really recommend watching The Legend of the Three Caballeros. That's a really good show, and it really like showcases these guys as actual characters in the original Disney movie. I mean, it's okay. I would say watch that too if you want to know more about them. But the way I've always seen these two characters working in Kingdom Hearts is that they were also magicians that worked with Donald in his like when he was becoming a magician. These were like two people who studied with him, and I think it would be really cool. Maybe see how they work. Maybe have Pacinto be a magician, like a dark mage, and Jose be a white mage, and Donald's kind of like the mixture of both, being the dark and white mage. He is the ultimate mage. And like Pacinto uses fire abilities a lot, and Jose uses a lot of cure abilities. I just think that would be really cool to involve those two as well. Of course, also bring back characters like Horace, Clarabelle, Scrooge, the chicken lady, I forget her name. Maybe involve more classic Disney Mythos characters. And I want to talk about some of the last few boss fights that I think should be involved in this world. Now, some other boss fights I was thinking that could be involved in this world in some shape or form is, first off, is Magicula. Don't know how to say her name. You know, I'm showing the picture of her. You know she is a major female villain in the DuckTales series. She is a witch, I believe, and I actually haven't seen much of her. I don't know too much about her, but I'm just kind of going off what I do know about her. She is a witch, can use magic spells. Now, these next three are characters I 100% should be involved in Kingdom Hearts in some form, as boss fights, maybe secret boss fights, side quest boss fights, some form. I think these three characters absolutely should be involved in Kingdom Hearts in the future. The first one I want to talk about is Mortimer Mouse. If you don't know who he is, he's Mickey's rival. He's shown up, you know, throughout the years, and I just think he would be a really sleazy character. I don't know how a boss fight with him would truly work, but I definitely think he should be a boss fight in some shape or form. Maybe he can use his car, something like that. Now, this next one was actually a character I should have put on my top 6 boss fights video that I did a little while ago, and this is the Big Bad Wolf. Now, the Big Bad Wolf is one of the best, like, shorts villains that Disney ever created. You know, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf was a huge song back in the day, and I think the Big Bad Wolf absolutely deserves to be a boss fight in Kingdom Hearts. Absolutely deserves it. In fact, if anything, he would probably be my number 1 boss fight that needs to be in Kingdom Hearts. He can use wind attacks, this, and that. Absolutely, I don't care about adding Red Riding Hood, the 3 Little Pigs, Little Bad Wolf. The Big Bad Wolf needs to be a boss fight in Kingdom Hearts. And the last one I want to talk about is a secret boss fight. Now, when I mean secret boss, I mean this character. Don't really involve him in any of the side quests. Maybe he can be involved, like maybe he shows up during each of the side quests, but with everything in Disney Town is said and done, you've completed each of the side quests, you fought all the boss fights, this character should show up. That is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and he should have a Keyblade in hand. I think this is a character that definitely needs to show up. Don't do too much story with him, though. I definitely think this is a character that can really have its own story arc in the future, in my personal opinion. And that can kind of lead into another theme. I was kind of going with the Darkwing Duck boss fight with his evil counterpart. Maybe have Oswald be the counterpart to Mickey, and that could really fit into... No, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for a different video. I definitely think Oswald has potential to be in Kingdom Hearts. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think Disney Town should return? Do you guys think it should be involved in future Kingdom Hearts games? I think it has potential, and I always thought it was a fun world. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and until the next video, stay happy.